top of the day to you. Saturday morning, out here working on the truck again. Waiting on parts again. I gotta get that the gasket for the oil pan because that's part of the timing chain cover. But I'll show you what I do have. Check this out. So I got me a little something in the mail. Watch this. It's got walls, go all the way around, but I haven't put them up yet. I got me a canopy tent for my truck. It's a 12 by 20. It only took me, what, 15, 20 minutes to put that up. And on top of that, I put the top on upside down. Because this is supposed to be on the inside, not the outside. So I'm not too worried about it. I just wanted to put it up, see what it looked like. But anyways, so I got my pump ready. Got the crank seal put on. It's ready. I'm waiting on this gasket. And there's the rest of my gaskets. I get this put on and we'll go from there. Hey, you like my hat? It's a welding hat, man. Fits my little Boehner head pretty damn good. Anyways, let's get working on this truck, man. So my now problem is that the valve or the timing chain cover has a gasket at the bottom, at the base. I'll show you. The bottom part of this gasket for this right here is the oil pan gasket, right? So I got me a new oil pan gasket, and look at this. It's one piece. I'm about to get irritated because now I gotta drop the oil pan. Then we got the front of the motor back on. Then we're gonna go ahead and take the intake off to redo the gasket and stuff, put it all back together. Got the new intake back on it, ready to roll. Just tighten up a couple things. Got a new gasket for that. I've got my little piece on there. I got the hoses on that side got to put on. Right now I'm getting ready to put this on. I got a new thermostat. I got this plugged in. So basically all we got to do is everything else. Just messing around. Check it out, man. Got my tarp. I'll show you. Got the sides on it. Put the back on it. It's freaking huge, man. I still got like 3 foot behind the truck. It's pretty nice, man. These little sides, they just got little spring loaders on there, man. That's all it is. I have a problem with that pine tree though. Anyways, pretty nice, man. The back zips open, it's a door, and then you got another piece up here. It'll do because it's gonna get cold soon. Tomorrow's supposed to be cold, rainy. But we'll get the truck running today. We'll get it back up. Oh, that's right. I gotta pull the oil pan. Woohoo! We'll get it all put back together. Now all I gotta do is put the mount on the front. That's for alternator, AC, all that good. I got these 2 hoses to hook back up. They just push on. They're no big deal. And then my throttle linkage, no big deal. And then we get down there and pull that freaking oil pan. Good times, man. Little update on the Dodge Dakota. I got it all back together with the new intake. Let me explain what happened. So I put it all back together. The only thing I had left to do was fill up the fluids, you know, the antifreeze. So first time I put it together, the thermostat housing leaked. I mean, it's spraying out pretty good. I'm like, that's messed up. I'm pretty sure I put a gasket on it, so moved it all out of the way and got it back in there, took the thermostat housing off, and the thermostat housing was fine. So I thought, well, I'll just put some, you know, sealer on there, gasket sealer. So I went over, got that, came back, cleaned it all up, dried it up, put it on there, big beat of it, set the housing back on. Hold on, I'll show you what it looks like. So this is the old one. I took the other one off, which was a lot nicer looking, cleaned it all up. This is the gasket that I just took off of it. I mean, it's still sticky on that side. You know, doesn't even look mashed. So I cleaned it all back up really good, and I put that that gasket sealer on there, or gasket maker on there. Well, it wasn't even dry. I mean, I put it on there, let it set for an hour like the instructions say, and then torqued it down 17 like it's supposed to be, and put fluids back in it, started up, and freaking leaked like a sieve, man. I mean, it's just shooting water all over the place. So I don't know what's up with that, man. So I took it back off, cleaned it all back up. That stuff wasn't even, it was still tacky. I mean, it wasn't even hard. So I put silicone on it. So I'm putting silicone on it, and I'm just tightening up the bolts, nothing major, no big heavy torque on it. And the freaking bolt snapped off in the freaking intake for the thermostat housing. This is ridiculous, dude. We'll have to take the intake back off so I can, that freaking thermostat housing, I'm gonna have to take it because the one bolt broke off in the head or in the intake. So I'm gonna have to take it back out and tap the screw. I have to tap it, put bigger screws in it. I don't know, bro. I hope this works, man, because this is a lot of work to take it back off of there. We'll give it a shot, man. So I was able to get it all back together. What I did was, this is the one that was on there. What I did was I was able to, I was able to real slowly drill out the screw and then use a small easy out and get that screw out of that housing. But I still don't know why it snapped off. But what I did was I put some RVT or RCV, whatever, gasket down and put the lid on it, or put the thing on it. Let it sit for 35 minutes, came back out, pulled it back off. Now it's gooey on both sides, and I put that paper gasket on there, and then I screwed it back down. So we're going to give that a shot and see if that does the trick, man. What we can do, man, is try. Okay, so what happened with those bolts? Okay, after diagnosing it, looking at it, and trying to figure out what was going on with that thermostat housing is that if you saw the part where the video, if you remember, where I had the thermostat housing gasket laying on the desk, it wasn't mashed. So I thought, well, maybe I got the wrong bolts. So what I did was I went over to the junkyard and I pulled the bolts off another truck just to double check, man, to make sure I had the right bolts that are going in there. Because your thermostat housing bolts on that little 3.9, the last quarter or the beginning of the bolt, about a quarter of an inch, it's tapered down. There's no thread on it. And I'm like, when I pulled them out, I thought, man, that's not right. So what it is that the tip of that is bottoming out before it's pulling down on the gasket or on the housing. So, like I said, I went to the junkyard, pulled the two off, and I brought them back to the shop, and I cut the tips off. That last quarter inch, right where the thread started, I cut it off. And then, of course, I put the thread gasket on, or the gasket maker on there, the paper gasket, and, just like I just showed you. And was able to torque that down, stop leaks. So I don't know why that it's like that, why they would put a tapered end on that, but it prevented me, and I blew the holes out, man. There's nothing down in the holes, but for some reason it won't let that go down far enough, and that's why that bolt snapped off. So just a word of the wise, man, if you're pulling that thermostat housing out, and that's what happened to the original, the one I took off. because the thermostat housing bolt hole was rounded out, is because they snapped a bolt off in there and couldn't get it out. So somebody ran another bolt in there sideways. And that's the reason why my original was all messed up. And that's why I had to replace it with one from the junkyard. Just a bad idea why they put a taper on that bolt's not that was stupid. But I was able to fix the problem without really messing some stuff up. So just a word of the wise, man. If you're messing with the Dodge Dakota 3.9, you're gonna fix that.
I got no leaks. I got a little extra on the rim there. That was about it. But it's all back together, man. Praise the good Lord, man. Trust me, I prayed over that one big time. I begged and pleaded with the Lord on that one. But you got no leaks. You burn off some of that excess coolant that was on there. But she looks like she's pretty good. We'll call it pumpkin. I'm gonna call it pumpkin. No, I didn't put the shroud back on it yet, but she's back on the road, bro. Now all we gotta do is everything else. I got new suspension for it. This one right here is the one that's broke. It's actually dinging up against the bed, but you can't see it. So thank God. Thank you, Father, for blessing me today, even though the power's out.
Okay, so we got it all back together. I ran it for 2-3 days off and on. I took it to Lowe's, which is like 8-9 miles one way, to get the engine heat up, make sure I didn't have any leaks, because I did have the intake off and the antifreeze runs through the intake, so it crosses over. So you always want to make sure that you check your oil after you run it for a little while and get it nice and hot. Because if you don't have a leak on the outside, you could have it on the inside, and it could leak, and it does. It goes right to the oil. So I checked that after it been nice and hot a couple of times, and everything seems to be good. So our next problem is that the oil pan gasket has to be replaced, but it's four-wheel drive, of course, and you have to drop the front axle in order to get to the oil pan. You can manipulate it around a little bit to get it out, but the next project we have going on with this is that the upper and lower control arm bushings are shot. The front axle, I think it's a passenger side. It's something's wrong with it. It's not engaging properly. So anyways, I already have all brand new everything. I have upper and lower control arms, ball joints, axles. The sway bar bushings that are on it now are shot. They're wore out. So I have everything brand new to put on it. I'm not going to mess with replacing just the bushings, because it's for another $30 you can just get the whole freaking axle. So anyways, so we're going to drop the whole front end, drop the axle down so I can get to the oil pan, fix that, then the motor's done. It is running really, really smooth. I don't have any problems, no leaks. So yeah, that's the next project. And then the leaf springs in the back have to be pulled because the one's broke. And we're going to put a 3-inch lift kit on it since we're already underneath the truck, tearing it all apart anyway. So that'd be my next project. So, and then after all that's said and done, we're going to replace the rear wheel wells. They're rusted through. They're actually gone behind the little flaps there. They're gone. And then in the bed, the wheel well covers are gone. They're rusted out in 2 spots. So that's what we'll do next after that. After everything else. So if you guys like the video on the Dakota, man, just give me a thumbs up on it, and we'll go from there. Our trials and tribulations with that freaking truck, but it is a good truck, man. So let's go get her done.